Hanson, present.
Present. Those who are able, please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have a couple sets of minutes here. Have you had a chance to read through them?
Have.
All right.
I would make a motion that we approve the minutes of August 24th as well as August 22nd of the select board meeting.
August 14th and August 14th.
Okay,
and
so
22nd.
I didn't read it. It looked like the 24th to me.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Smith, aye.
Newman, aye.
That's mine.
All right.
I swear I get blinder every day.
So first up, we have some fair permits to approve.
Maureen, you said that you abstained on the 22nd for the minutes.
Oh, yes. Sorry about that.
Okay, so first item is some fair permits. And you had a chance to look those over.
These are all recurring vendors.
Yep. So I would welcome a motion that we approve the permits for the vendors and common victualers as listed.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Smith, aye.
Newman, aye.
Hanson, aye.
We have a fair agreement. We have a hold harmless agreement between the town of Sterling and HTX Helicopters. They offer helicopter rides at the town fair. It's just letting everyone know that we are not liable for anything that may happen with the running of their helicopters. So I welcome a motion that we approve the agreement between the town of Sterling and HTX Helicopters.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Smith, aye.
Newman, aye.
Hanson, aye.
And then we have an appointment to the fair. Mary Roy, did you want to get up and let us know what it is? You just let us know, but would you like to let everyone else know what it is that you do for the fair?
My family has been involved in the fair since it began, and we've done various things. Now, we're doing the Las Vegas booth, and it's a family thing. We love it, we enjoy it, we've done it for many years, well, since it's been at the airport, so. And of course, I'm doing garden club stuff.
Of course. All right, so I would welcome a motion that we appoint Mary Roy to the fair committee.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Smith, aye.
Newman, aye.
Hanson, aye. And thank you, Mary, for all that
Thank
you
you.
do and your family.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And next up, we have a reappointment to Sterling-Lancaster Community Television. Richard Mackey. Do you have any words for us?
Sure.
All right. No pressure, you don't have to.
No pressure. Richard Mackey, 3 Sunset Drive in Sterling. I'm currently finishing my 15th year on the SLCT board as the retiring president as of September. I'd like to be reappointed to the board. The board currently has 8 members, 4 from Lancaster, 4 from Sterling, and each community can appoint 1 member of the board, and that's the position that I'm asking you to appoint me to.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Mackey?
No, but thank you. It's nice to see that you're still involved. We don't want you to go anywhere.
I would welcome that motion to reappoint Richard Mackey to Sterling-Lancaster Community Television Board.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Smith, aye.
Newman, aye.
Hanson, aye. Thank you again, Richard. I'm with David. Glad to see you're still involved.
And next would be an appointment to the Animal Control Advisory Board. Lori Underwood. I don't see her here. I've looked over her volunteer application and I have no questions.
And the ACAB board actually recommended her, so.
So then I would welcome the motion that we appoint Lori Underwood to the Animal Control Advisory Board.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Smith, aye.
Newman, aye. Newman, aye.
Also, if Lori needs to be told that she needs to get sworn in. Okay, Mary, you're gonna go see the town clerk to get sworn in?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. All right, and we have our goals to set for the select board for the upcoming year. What have we got from the two of you? Dave, what do you think are a couple of good goals for us to work
So-
on?
When I left the last meeting, I had some pretty good thoughts and they vanished. But one thing I would like to see, and it probably already exists, is maybe, outline the duties and responsibilities of some of the committees so that we don't go through what happened last year. I'm sure it's already outlined and I'm sure it's part of their, but does it,
Most of the committees and boards have an outline of what their responsibilities are. And sometimes it falls into their interpretation as opposed to what is.
perhaps that needs to be, once a committee is formed completely, perhaps they need to be educated, maybe, on what their duties are.
Who would be doing the educating?
I would think the chair of the select board would be doing it.
Okay.
No, but I don't,
You'll
I
be
don't
the class, you'll be the teacher. We'll give you all the
That'll
tools.
be exciting. Turn the cameras off for that
Every
one.
committee that gets established should have a charge, either it's through its bylaw that creates it or through whatever you set up. Like, we should probably come up with an actual thing with the DPW board on the building committee too, that, it's not just this, it's looking at all the possible options, So I think that gives them their marching orders as well.
So a bit of an overhaul of our boards and committees.
yes,
All
I
right.
mean, but we don't want to discourage anybody from
Right.
participating either.
Of course
you know?
not. Of course not. All right. Do you have anything else?
That is all.
All right. Maureen, what have you got?
I have a list. A lot of it is really continuing doing what we do, and that's to, basically our job is to oversee the budgets and, probably encourage level spending, keeping that in mind. While doing that, we need to be mindful of a continuation of services, and then to continue to look for opportunities for regionalization of some of our services. We've been fairly successful so far, and hopefully moving forward, there'll be success in some of the other areas. And communication and updates with our various departments and other elected boards. I think that's important, and I would like to see us continue to do that. For instance, when we have them come in and give us their updates. Support appropriate economic development, to me, is important as we move forward. And, with that, stay updated with the master plan and work with Stephen, the town planner, for any changes or revisions or anything like that we'd like to see. I think he's doing a good job right now. I'd really like to see us move forward with the 1835 septic system before the end of the fiscal year would be nice, or before I die. And then,
Well, it's been 20 years.
I know, it's been a long time, as is the downtown renovation, do what we can to continue to look for funding and hopefully make some strides there within the next fiscal year. I'd like to see us support our staffs more with employee reviews and make sure that Sterling is competitive in wages, benefits, and training. That's how you lose employees. When we've had people leave at any given time to go someplace for $1. So those are just, things that I'd like to see us continue to do. Anything new? I think that's a lot on our plate, to be honest with you.
Yep. So some of mine went along with yours, the maintaining a level service budget. I think us working closer with the FinCom. So I put working on establishing a better relationship with our finance committee, kind of along with maintaining that level service budget while continuing to offer the services. So I do think we need to work on that relationship there. So maybe that might be one we want to really focus on this year, since we both brought that up. Communication was one. I know when I ran, it was on communication. Sounded easy at the time. It is not an easy thing.
Really?
And I felt bad that it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be until I started going to meetings where all towns are dealing with communication issues. People want to get notified about things in a million different ways these days, so it's hard to focus on how to get information out to the most number of people. So I think working on that and working on communication with the younger people, how they want to get notified, might be a good thing, because we're going to need people to follow us eventually, so we need everyone to be paying attention to what's going on.
Soon.
And that kind of goes along the communication part with what you said too. Working with our boards and committees, I think we all feel that way, and we do have a lot of vacant seats. So I think being very supportive to our boards and committees to fill those vacant seats is pretty important for this year, given the number that we have. And
Plus, we're going to have 3 seats available on the select board itself. So to encourage people to get out there and, sign up. It's not as hard as Kirsten said, really. She was fibbing.
it's not that difficult, but there
are those days.
bit of difficulty in that. So yeah, just showing that there is support to people who want to join boards and committees, and support by us. So I think that would be helpful. Do we want to pick maybe 3 or 4 of these things to really?
I want all of mine, but
Yeah, right. I mean, some of those are in the works.
Well, that's the thing. Some of them are their continuation. So,
And the 1835 septic and the downtown, yes, we play a huge role in that, but there are a lot of things that are outside of our jurisdiction here and out of our control.
I don't control only because of the funding
Funding, yes, and
and the engineering and all of that business. So, but just keep up to date with it. I think the bottom line is communication and building up all of our committees and boards.
correct. I would agree with that, and that kind of goes along with what all 3 of us.
So maybe some suggestions as how better we can do that. I know Bill has, started that Facebook page.
Yep.
I think he's got, 48 followers.
Oh, we're double that now.
Are you really?
We're in the 80s,
Oh, okay, good to hear.
All right, 80 out of 7,000, that's good.
8,000.
Okay, great. What's that point? No. So I think that's a good idea. I don't know how else we can get information out, though, other than social media.
Social media, I know some other towns use a texting app. That may be what some younger people would be interested in, as long as you don't abuse it, so it's a fine line on information and abuse of information, but something to look into, and look into the cost of that.
We have Code Red too, which obviously gets out emergency notices that.
Right, so a lot of people I've seen don't want to be notified for non-emergency things through Code Red, so there may be other avenues with texting, so that'll be something to look into. So yes.
One issue it comes down to, as far as communication, is time, right? We have in Sudbury a quarterly newsletter that the Department of Public Works puts out, but we have a consulting firm do it.
Well, I
money,
guess
yeah.
the Light Department actually does their newsletter too and puts it in there. I don't know if that's quarterly or
We put it out on our Facebook page and we put it out on the town website. And it's very informative and keeps everybody up to speed as to paving or snow operations or whatever's going on or going to be going on. And it gets a lot of good reviews, but once again, it's time, who's got the time internally to do that? The town's fortunate they have enough money they can fund it.
Is that distributed through the mail?
No,
How do you-
just on our Facebook page and through our website. Did Bill say he would be more than happy to take that on?
He's very busy.
I believe he did one in Beckett, yes, if I'm remembering from your interview.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so possible texting, possible newsletter that may be a collaboration
Yeah, I mean,
by
even
a
if-
lot of different.
Right, if we just get the department heads to just write a quick paragraph or something, it could be inserted and sent out.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't disagree, just, I'm thinking right now of when we do the town report, how it's like pulling teeth to get people to actually get it done. So, but if they're only doing one, like the town report is the whole year.
Whole year, right.
Whereas this is, if,
Yeah, just hit the high
actually
spots.
might help them moving forward to, then you take all of that information and consolidate it into your report, so.
We do have a timeline of things that tend to happen around the same time every year, so we know to put those out there ahead of time. You know, it's tough with local news media too. Our local newspaper is now monthly, so a lot of times things that are in there happened a few days or a couple weeks before it comes out. So just a way to get things out in the moment when people need to know. So we'll think about the newsletter, we'll work on that, and maybe a texting, like test it out and see if people sign up for it and enjoy it. That may be what a lot of towns have said gives them the most luck with reaching people. So we can work on the communication issues there and our boards and committees, being supportive of them, getting those vacancies filled. And that goes along with our relationship with the finance committee and working hand in hand with them on the budget from the get-go if we can, attend their meetings and things to know what's coming and be able to inform everybody what's coming as far as budget with enough time. All right, anything else with regard to the goals? And I can get those written up
Oh, you're
for all
good
of
to
us to
go.
have to work on. All right. Did we want to quick discuss the mart and then have Onyx come in, or we can?
So about, I don't know, was that about a year ago? Year and a half? It started? The Mart Connects program, which is a taxi livery vehicle shared ride service up to 20 miles away. It is subsidized by a grant, so the rides are $3, $4, and $5 depending on the distance folks go. The funds in that are getting to the point of being exhausted. A lot of people use it to commute to work. I know a lot of people use it on the weekends when the COA vans aren't available to take care of some of the things they need. Sterling's rides have totaled just about 1,600 since it started last year and have steadily increased. June was down a little bit, but I know July had increased again. So as this program runs out of the grant funds, Mart's looking at seeing if we want to continue that in a 75-25% split, where they take 75% of it through their funds that they have. And obviously we can use some of the proceeds from the cost of the rides. They're thinking it'll probably be somewhere around $10,000 to $15,000 for the year to continue
Total
on.
or our portion?
Our portion. So I'm coming to you to see if it's something we want to look across the budget to see if we can fund and get back to them. We don't have a firm number yet on their part. I know they're going to look at seeing if those costs are in line or how many people would drop off because of it. or if they make it one flat rate regardless of the distance. So they're gonna come back with some numbers, but I just need some direction as to, is this something we wanna continue, and should we look at some of the funds? I know a few places where we could look, whether it's EDC perhaps. I know a lot of people use it to get to and from work, so I think that kind of, falls within that pot, and a couple other places we could look.
I would love to hear from some of the people that use it, just.
Stephen and I met with the MART director and assistant administrator last week to get at least a little bit of a rundown of how things were going. But, it's tough to get something up and running and then drop it completely, particularly when a couple hundred, people are using it, or rides are being used regularly.
Did you say that it's used mostly on the weekends?
No, I know some people are using, like, the
Right.
COA van obviously runs during the week, but if
Yeah.
somebody has to go to the store, I know, and it's not ideal for everybody, you have to call a day ahead, but it's much more open, it's from 5:30 a.m. to 10 p.m., so it's definitely helped a different group of people, across town and demographics.
Yeah, I'd be interested in knowing some of the people that, I think it's a great idea. I mean, it's something that, was looked at for a while, and now it's working, obviously, so you don't want to just ditch it for lack of funds. So I think we can think of something to come up. I mean, like you said, if you go across the budget, see where there might be money here, money there, so on and so forth. I wonder if even the formula grant for the senior center would be willing to throw some money into there, just, because I'm guessing some of these people are seniors and just don't drive anymore. Would be my guess.
Definitely something I would like to see us fund if we can. It'd be nice to get the final numbers.
So
and
we'll, I guess, if that's fine with you folks, and then I can go back and at least say that we're interested in it and get the final numbers and then start looking through the budget. That's fine with you folks?
Yep, that sounds good.
Oh, do we want to, I'll make a motion to,
I just have one question before we move along with that. I think this is a great idea, but just say we fund $10,000 and it comes in at 14. How would it be?
So they plan on coming up with a hard number for us.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not going to be a moving target unless the rides explode, and
Well,
that's the
then
only
we'd
thing that
have
would
to
be.
reassess at that point,
Yeah.
but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, if it goes from 2 to 400, well then, now it's a different story. Because it's a greatly subsidized program.
Right.
so I make a motion to have Bill continue to look into that, funding for the MART
Second,
transportation.
All those in favor?
Smith, aye.
Newman, aye.
Grants and I.
Put that in your newsletter, Bill.
Yes.
Okay, up next, we have a discussion about action that was taken at an emergency meeting on the 22nd regarding an accident that happened at 17 Stonecrest Way, the Onyx site.
Madam Chairwoman, members of the board. My name is William Hill, Will Hill. I'm counsel for Onyx Corporation. And before I talk about the tragic accident on August 22nd, I just wanted to take a moment to thank the first responders from Sterling and the surrounding communities for their prompt response and diligent and tireless efforts. Fire Chief David Hurlbett was at the site early and worked throughout the recovery operations. Police Chief Sean Cadet and their teams. There were first responders from neighboring communities, and I would just like to, before we say anything else, thank them for their service. As I said, I'm Will Hill. I'm counsel for Onyx Corporation. I have been for at least 10 years. Here for Onyx is John Durkin. He's the vice president of the company and the son of the founders of the 40-year-old company. Jim Faris, who's the senior project manager. Julie Bergeron, general manager. and Mandy Murfield, who was a site supervisor at the sand and gravel plant here in Sterling. Onyx has been in business for more than 40 years and has operated, as you may know, at this site since 2016. Operated as a sand and gravel pit. The site has provided materials for hundreds of Worcester County and Middlesex County projects. If there's a 30-mile radius around this site and you're in a town, there's a good chance that the roads and bridges in that town were made with product from this site. There are 10 full-time employees, Onyx employees at the site. There are 30 independent contractors who utilize the site daily, dozens of daily deliveries in sand and gravel, and a weekly rate of material valued at about $250,000. Public and private construction and infrastructure projects, as I said, to Worcester and Western Middlesex County. The Mass Highway Department, for example, and dozens of neighboring cities and towns use material from this site for infrastructure projects, emergency repairs, and the like. And they're private projects and work in private infrastructure construction that is supported by this site. On August 22nd, as you know, there was a tragic accident. Brian Derby, an experienced 11-year Onyx employee, was operating a Caterpillar 374 excavator. It's an 80-ton piece of equipment. And when a quarry rock face near where he was working and without warning suddenly collapsed. And an approximately 95-foot tall wall suddenly gave way. At the time of the incident, by all accounts, Mr. Derby appears to have been operating in a safe zone designated by the U.S. Mining Safety and Health Administration, which I'll refer to as MSHA. MSHA has exclusive jurisdiction over the U.S. mines and quarries, including this site for Onyx. Not only the earth removal efforts, but all the mechanized work and processing of that material. As you may know, MSHA's jurisdiction essentially substitute for that of the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA. But when it comes to mines and quarries such as this, MSHA is in charge. 2 days prior to the accident, MSHA representatives had been on the site at Onyx's request in connection with the inspection of the stone and gravel wash plant there. That visit was without event, and there were no issues observed at that time in connection with the work area where the accident took place, which was proximate to where they were inspecting. And we'll say within minutes of the August 22nd accident, MSHA and the first responders were contacted by Onyx's site supervisor, Ms. Murfield, who was here. MSHA investigators from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, which is the closest regional office and has the jurisdiction over this site, arrived as soon as they could get there that morning. And in keeping with MSHA protocol, the MSHA office in Albany, New York, those investigators were dispatched to the site as well. So the office has jurisdiction, comes, and then they get another office to come in to support it. So under the direction of MSHA, in coordination with regional first responders, including those from Sterling and surrounding communities, Onyx employees, using Onyx's equipment, and supported by contractors and friends coming to the aid of this recovery operation, worked through the day and over the night into the early morning hours to recover their friend and co-worker. Mr. Derby's body was recovered at approximately 6 a.m. on Friday morning, August 23rd, approximately 22 hours after the tragic accident. The site as it exists, I want you to know that Onyx has been fully cooperating with MSHA as it undertakes its investigation. MSHA issued an order restricting activity to an area that is marked and designated near the rock fall zone until it completes its investigation. This is the subject of the K order. I submitted a letter to Mr. Coldwell this morning. I trust you have it. Exhibit A to that letter lays out that K order. And you can see the order was issued, and in kind of a, there's timestamps on the bottom of succeeding pages as operations are expanded as required for the recovery efforts and other subsequent orders issued. So it's kind of a order in progress during the course of recovery operations through those multiple pages. If you so various things could happen during the recovery. As I said, MSHA has jurisdiction over all the other sand and aggregate processing operations at the site. As you enter the site, you will see, as you've been there, this site is governed by MSHA regulations and with a list of safety elements required by the site. MSHA has not otherwise restricted any other activity on this approximately 52-acre site. And on August 26th, MSHA communicated to Honest that it was not prohibited from accessing or working on other areas of the mine. And I use the word mine because that's how MSHA defines this in their regulations. You find the word mine, you don't frequently find the word quarry. So they're allowed to do other operations other than what's in the K order zone, so long as that access or work does not violate the areas withdrawn from operation under the K order zone. I have attached to my letter as Exhibit B the email we received from the MSHA investigator authorizing Onyx to do that. I will also say that although not required to do so by MSHA, Onyx has engaged the national engineering firm of GZA Geo-Environmental to assist in assessing that rock face of the quarry as it considers what it's going to do under the K order. As to next steps, I will say that in the aftermath of this tragic loss, Onyx is providing support for the family of Mr. Derby. It's continuing to cooperate with MSHA and attempting to provide support to the friends and co-workers of Mr. Derby who work at the company, including some relatives of Mr. Derby. Onyx is a 160-employee company, as I've said. I will say they're proud of their safety record. They have had no deaths in their 40-year history or serious injuries. There have been no injuries at this site since 2016, since Onyx has operated, until obviously the tragic loss on August 22nd. Onyx is attempting to continue its business there. It has 30 independent contractors, 10 employees, as I said, hundreds of customers. It wants to its contracts that need to be fulfilled and customers it wants to serve. So that for that reason, we're requesting that the board withdraw the cease and desist order it issued I have no doubt in good faith on August 22nd. I've laid out the reasons for that in my letter, and I won't belabor them, but because they're there. And with respect to MSHA jurisdiction, MSHA is a pretty good sheriff. They're expert in this area. They are working with Onyx. They have investigators at the site. They have cordoned off areas that are required, and I do have required to be kept free from activity. I do have some graphics that some of these might be familiar with you. There's no easel, but if you don't mind, I'll just can you see it from there? Okay, why don't we do that? So this is a site plan of the 52 2-acre site. This is Onyx depiction, but roughly the area of the accident. So it's centrally located. Obviously, there's operations here, but Onyx wants to be able to continue.
Well, so you're not going to bend over.
Okay. Thanks. And I'll show you an aerial photograph in a moment, but so this is the general area of the rockfall. Forgive me, the graphics of this drone shot aren't particularly good, but I just wanted to give you a sense. This is the K-order area where no activity is permitted to take place. So this again is this is like that. This is the, I think the eastern side. And this photo was taken just after the accident. Here's the wash plant under construction. And Onyx is working with, we'll be working with MSHA with respect to additional protection and berms here, but right now, no activity. This is different, this is more of a kind of a bird's eye view. This photo, because was taken, this was laid in over, this photo was taken before the accident, but I just wanted the board to be able to see kind of the K-zone, or the K-order area. So this area is cordoned off, right down here. So no activity is taking place there. As I said, MSHA is, under the U.S. Code, has jurisdiction over this area and and really has, I won't say exclusive jurisdiction, but it really has, I would say, a dominant role. It can do things in consultation with state agencies. Massachusetts does not have a state agency dealing with mine safety. It works in conjunction with, the Massachusetts Department of Labor and Standards, for example, has training, but it does it in conjunction with MSHA. Some states do have mine safety operations. Mass does not, and it defers to MSHA, as do local boards and towns. So we would say MSHA is, I think the town should feel confident that MSHA is involved in this and is going to make sure that the site is safe and a full investigation takes place. We will say, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on your bylaw, we have no doubt that you entered your order in good faith and in furtherance of what you thought were your duties to keep things safe. But we would argue that the bylaw really doesn't talk about worker safety, as you can see. It talks really about the general public and nuisance and those sorts of things. But we can agree to disagree on that. I will say we feel strongly, though, that while Onyx greatly respects the board's authority and actions taken in this time of emergency, for the reasons set forth in my letter, and that I have stated, Onyx really needs to resume its business operations at the site, and by doing so, Onyx can continue to serve its customers, cities, towns, employees, and the families in the region that have been relying on Onyx for more than 40 years. And so we respectfully request that the board withdraw the cease and desist order to issue. I'd be happy to answer any questions, or have Onyx representatives do that.
Just, I know it's not for worker safety, but from my standpoint at the time, it was an active situation, and we do have employees of the town who do go in there periodically, conservation agents, building department, inspectors and things. There is active building permits on site. So it is really just to protect people in the moment, having no information on the details of what had happened. So that is the reasoning, just to have a local response, because we are the local permitting authority. And I can say my heart just sank that day for everybody involved. And I wanted to do what I felt was right for our community in having a response. And that's where it came from.
Yes.
Just wanting to make sure we're doing the best that we can do for everyone involved. So that's where it was coming from.
Right. Well, Madam Chairwoman, I really appreciate that. This is one of these things that you just don't want to have happen when you come into work during the day. And so people were doing what they thought was the best thing to do. And so I have no qualms about what was going through you and the board's head when this tragic event occurred. So I wanted to bring you up to date to let you know what's been happening since, and that we are taking this extraordinarily seriously with the regulatory agencies that deal with it.
Do we know approximately when there will be a preliminary report available? How long it tends to take them?
I have been told, and I am not expert in the MSHA area, but I've been told that they don't do preliminary reports, that it will be a full report, and it could be some time. Months.
Months and up to a year before they release it, and they will release it to the family first before anybody else. And then release it to the public, y'all and us. We won't see it till it's presented to the family first. They said 6+ months, and they had 3 deaths on that day in the country, the same day, so, in the mining industry. So, sad day for all of us.
And will the K order change within those 6 months, or is that in place?
It's going to change constantly, and we can surely update you every time it changes and send a copy of the change, because there's a multiple step process to removing the machine safely, to then backfilling the face to be able to get equipment on top of it safely, to then removing the loose rock that's there safely, to then getting it back to its design, the way it was supposed to be. So it'll be a multiple step process, which we don't mind copying your board every step of the way as we receive those approvals, which you can share with the public.
Did the Hall Road collapse? No, hard to tell on there.
No, the Hall Road was way back from where it is. It's just we don't know exactly, but freak accident. Brian was an employee and a friend of mine.
No.
So.
Sorry. It was a terrible, I can't imagine what you all are feeling, because I felt sick to my stomach, so I can only imagine what you're going through. And our hearts really do go out to the family and to all of you.
Yeah, we could. Thank you. Couldn't have had a more experienced guy doing it too, you know?
So, we could withdraw the cease and desist, but just to let you know that your permit does expire on the 22nd. And I believe Concom meets up on the 16th. I think they were, again, one of our conservation gentlemen was due to be on site, I think, either last week or sometime this week. So I don't know how all of that is going to work out, but that it's something, I know you have a lot on your mind right now.
They're free to visit the site, just as we've always done. They have to check in at the trailer and sign themselves in and sign themselves out, and we have to escort them to make sure they don't cross that line by the order we're under. Nobody can cross that line, no one. Police, fire, nobody, unless there's an emergency, so that's all. So that's well delineated at this point with some tape, and our plan is we have to create a berm of material around so no vehicles could enter it, is our next step, so.
All right, I do just want to quick acknowledge we did receive a letter. I know this is not a public hearing, but I do want to acknowledge that we received a letter from a member of the town. And one of the lines was, the permit granting authority, being us, may also not have the necessary expertise in mine safety to properly execute the permitting process. You know, this is a huge project. I know it's been a huge undertaking. And I just want to say that I agree with that statement. I do not have the expertise to make any decisions about the earth removal for this project. It's way beyond me. So I'm just being honest in this moment right now, saying that yes, as the permit granting authority, I feel that this is beyond me. So I'm glad to know that there are agencies. I didn't know that MSHA comes out as often as they do. And so I'm glad to know that they do. We're learning a lot in this process. So I just wanted to put that out for myself, that no, I do not have that expertise, and it is a difficult decision to make sometimes sitting here at this table, so.
Yeah, it's important to us that something like this didn't ever happen. We invited them out, which is a voluntary thing for a company, and we invited them out on Tuesday for a site walk in this area before we hopefully start testing this plant in a few weeks. And they didn't see anything either, so, and these people do this every day, and, you know, unfortunately, there'll be facts that are found after examining the rock, but there was nothing visible at the time that any of us who do this for a living saw, because ultimately that's our responsibility. And unfortunately, Brian, I don't know, we didn't see anything, so.
How often does somebody come out and inspect do you have a geotechnical engineer that comes out after blast, things like that, to
We have
check the integrity of the wall?
We have a geologist that monitors the blasting every shot, seismic monitoring. They provide a report on the location. It's not required that a geotechnical engineer review that every single time, because it's an active mine and it's evolving all the time. So it's hard to, it's like an archaeological dig. As you dig, the fissures in the rock change, and that's not standard for our industry. But we've engaged GZA to come in and look at this spot as well as the rest of the quarry to see, just in general, if there's anything that jumps out at them as a protocol going forward that we need to be watching. And we don't have anything back from them. We did walk the site with them yesterday, but our plan currently is we will not be blasting for a few months. Currently, that's our plan moving forward until we get a full evaluation. So, we have a big pile of material that we can use now. So.
All right, any questions?
No, I just want to say we are truly deeply sorry for your family's loss. I have friends that work for your family. It was a tough day. That I'm sure it was a lot worse for you, and I'm glad I don't have to go through what you're doing. But to expand upon that, I've been on sites that have gone bad on a bad blast, and MSHA's come in, and I'm completely confident that MSHA has control of this site, and there's no further danger or issues or safety concerns that are going to take place. I have, complete confidence in. They're by the book. They open a book and they go right down the list, and you're not changing any of that. So I just want to reassure you that this was a tragic accident. It was a freak accident, and I'm sure the site is going to be 100% safe before MSHA's allowed them to continue on in the K area, if that's what you're going to call that, before operations can continue. So I would be in support of rescinding our cease and desist order.
Questions,
I
comments?
don't have any questions. I think I echo what David said. I can't even imagine what you're all going through. Tragic. All
And
it
his
is.
family.
Just tragic, the whole thing. For you
Just there for
guys, for his family, I can't even imagine. My heart broke, as some of you might know, on Thursday when I heard about it. And just, I feel the same as David as far as MSHA, protecting the rest of you as we move forward, and the town itself. So if you need a motion to rescind, I would make a motion to rescind the cease and desist on Onyx, with the idea that we will still receive those reports, the K reports, and we'll see you sometime in September for your renewal.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Smith, aye.
Okay.
Johnson, aye.
Thank you.
Thank you for all coming. I know it was very, very difficult.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. and
Can
members of
I
the
ask,
board.
you know, because there will be some involvement of the K order rather soon to get the equipment out, because visually for our employees, that's a tough thing to see every day. Who should we be sending it to? Just because we will be just forwarding it to someone, just Bill, should we make Bill the point person, I guess, for now? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, members of the board.
Thank you all.
That was already.
Was tonight, or was this homework?
That is homework. So this bill is due a review. He has not had a review, I believe, in over 2 years. His contract is coming up. We owe him a review. So I came up with this format. Again, I looked through some different formats that other towns use. I made this workable for Sterling. And I would just ask that if you can, in a perfect world, it would come back to me by September 11th. I know that's difficult, so no later than the 25th. That way we can meet with Bill and give him his review, perhaps at our October 23rd meeting. We'll kind of go over the results of the review. So I believe he's owed it by October 25th, so the timing is good to have the October 23rd meeting. So yeah, it's homework. We don't really need to discuss it, but it's been discussed. I can email that to you too, just the dates. I know Maureen's, I'm not sure if she heard me over there, but,
We heard you.
okay, sounds good.
You want the food and beverage version? All right.
Yes, Jeff. All right, Bill, I know it's tough to follow that last agenda item, but if you'd like to give us your administrator's update.
A lot of things have been regarding the fair and the fair insurance specifically, but that is all situated at this point. So it looks like, you know, hoping just for good weather at this point for a couple weekends from now. Obviously, the vendors have been approved. We got the insurance piece settled, so now it's just getting everything set up and get everything going that we had to. We've had a couple safety meetings with all those involved. Whatever plans we have to have are all in place. Obviously, our public safety folks do a great job when it comes to that, whether it's the traffic piece and on the site. They do a great job. So the fair is as ready to go as it's going to be in terms of the administrative piece. In terms of grants, we did just get awarded today and announced today that we would receive a $10,000 award from Maya, our insurance company, from the risk management to offset the cost of the asset management software that we're getting to put in the workflows for checking facilities. West Boylston's doing the same thing. I don't know about the grant piece, but they're using the software as well so that, you know, everything can be tracked and, you know, whenever we're all not here, the next people have all the information of what repairs have been done and what's in the system. So good news there. We did get awarded that grant last year as well for some of the HVAC items over at the police department. The community compact grant that we got, obviously the capital improvement plan we worked on last year, that is coming out, and obviously we'll be working with that this year. We're getting the budget document going, so we'll be having a department meeting in September for the budget document and the annual town report that was going to kind of be combined and see all the things that we have to get. Obviously, Fred and I are going to be getting a lot of information over to them as soon as possible to get that rolling and try and get it as, smooth as possible. We do have some postings for positions to go out, probably after Labor Day, which we'll get those out probably next week. In terms of conservation, I know obviously we've had 2 folks leave for full-time positions, and we signed the IMA with Rutland. It's looking pretty favorable that we may finally go through with that. They've had some changes in their board, and I guess they shored up their finance piece, so we'd be able to get that posted fairly soon for a shared full-time position on a conservation agent to get some support down there. The elevator is complete over at the library. The lift has a little more going on. School security, the cameras, doors, all those items have been installed. Just have to pay the last invoice. Still have a couple projects going on at the beach in terms of signage and a few other things with the last of the funds that we have, but we'll get those finished up. Still working on that septic, it'll be back on the radar again, and I think we all want it done. Ryan has been working with the engineering firm and DOT on the 62 and 140 project. That's getting closer to design and obviously the eventual funding for the construction of it. They just have to narrow down what their options are, and obviously those are the ARPA funding at the bottom. We're knocking off a lot of those projects, but there's still a few that are outstanding. In the next couple, probably the next month or so, we should find out on the one-stop grant, which is for the downtown project. We kept 50% of our ARPA money for that. If that's not funded, we have to either decide if we're going to maintain those funds there, or if we're going to do something else with them. ARPA funds have to be designated by the end of the calendar year this year, so
24 or 25?
26 it has to be expended, 24 it has to be designated. So right now we have things designated, but that may change with whatever funding comes up or doesn't come up at this point. So those are the major items, unless I'm forgetting anything. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but. Oh, there was obviously town meeting action at the special town meeting in October on 2 parcel donations, one on Michael and one on Pamela Lane, I believe. So I have the documents that we need to sign to get those small parcels turned over. That's it for me.
Do we need a motion to sign those, or that's just a formality there?
Town meeting took the acceptance action, so.
Where do those parcels go to?
So one of them is the drainage basin of the subdivision, and one is the fire pond on Holden Road, out by Pamela Lane. That is actively being used.
Do you know if the plan on 62 and 140, is that for a rotary, or are they going to be
Yeah, they're trying to figure out the shape and design as to not take a lot of the, DCR owns land, we own land, obviously the neighbor owns land, and then there's the intersection that exists, so to try not to have to take too much of any bit of land at this point.
I just think about Route 70 and 117 in Lancaster, and they actually did a fabulous job with just lights. So, not as intrusive, just saying.
Yeah, obviously the biggest thing in terms of their decisions are safety. The speed limit's different there, the sight lines are different there. That's a 45-mile-an-hour road and 62, so having cars go from 50 to 0 and back up again is, a DOT no-no. Which is probably why they put them out here as well. That's a 40-mile-an-hour, about 45, Route 12.
It's 55. It's 55 once you get it, or it's 50 at least once you clear Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah. So, yeah, we've had our safety meeting here with all their engineers and our designers.
Yeah, I know, I just thought I'd throw it out there. They don't listen to us anyway, so.
No.
Like, it was a surprise that we got 2 rotaries on 12. I went to all those meetings. You went to those too, Richard, right? And actually suggested, no, Bob Cutler was involved in that too. We suggested no rotaries, and we got 2. He's so kind. But speaking of speed, to remind people that school is back in session and to slow down. Whatever road you're on, just slow down. These kids, you know, they'll dart out in a heartbeat. We can't afford to lose any of them.
All right, only other thing, of course, we won't be meeting again until after the fair. So the fair is the 6th through the 8th of September. I believe that's right, 6th through 8th. So be sure to head on over to the fair on those days. And anything else?
No, just while you're at the fair, make sure you stop by the dunking booth because there's rumor that one of the famous select board members is going to be spending some time in there.
Really?
Hopefully it's you. I'm voting for you.
Yeah, it is me.
Oh, gotta start saving up my money.
I'll lend you some, okay? What day is that?
I'll give it all to you, don't worry.
Do you take
We
checks?
definitely need times.
We got 2 little things. Actually, the FOSS breakfast is the Friends of the Sterling Seniors breakfast is this Friday. Duh. So you might want to do that, and it's Have Coffee with a Cop Day also at the Senior Center. And then Tuesday, the 3rd, from 10 to 11, is the Lafayette visit down at Memorial Park. So the Cultural Council worked hard on that, or Historical Council rather, you know. And again, we reiterate, we need people for boards and committees. The elected boards, just start getting your signs made.
And early voting is still ongoing, so you have tomorrow and Friday for early voting, and then the 3rd will be primary day, so that as well. All right,
I would entertain a motion, no, I wouldn't. I would make a motion to resign. No, I'll make a motion to adjourn. It's been a long week.
I will second that motion.
all right, all those in favor?
Smith, aye.
And aye?
That's an aye.
All right, thank you.